What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list today. Gotta say, markets are moving a little slow, but then again, that's generally what happens as you start rolling around into summer and coming out of the winter season. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and take a look at some of the most popular stocks moving today, what people are watching. Try to formulate a game plan for those plays. So first thing we'll do is we'll look at the stock RMO. This was one of our number one picks from yesterday. The stock ended up performing exceptionally well, running all the way from $7 to almost $14. Our price target was only up to about 10.50. That's where we anticipated the market was going to go here on RMO, and ended up going all the way to 14. So we're still going to be watching RMO today for some continuation. If you look at the news yesterday, it had some pretty decent news, and so overall, the stock had a pretty good run. So we know for sure that yesterday some people were shorting the stock because it was easy to borrow. That was another reason the stock ran so well. But either way, if you take a look at the screen on the right, you'll see this yellow trend line. You see where the wicks are? All right, so for example, this yellow trend line, let's just overlap a level ourselves. And then when you see on the left screen this 1 minute chart, you'll see the price dropped here, bounced. So you can see right now price is currently respecting the price of 11.57, and that is the 4 hour, one deviation mark here. That's why we're bouncing. So until the markets actually get below 11.50, we're not going to see some big breakdown move. So otherwise, we'll stay long bias the market until we anticipate it's going to break 11.50, or it's gone up and it's going to reject off a resistance mark and roll over. So for the time being, there won't be a big sell-off on RMO until it comes back down below the prices of 11.59. Now when we go to the daily chart, we should get another level to work off of, which is going to come in play at 12.38. So our current resistance for the day is 12.38. Our current support is 11.57. As prices shift through 12.30, then we could see a breakout to the upside. And as prices come down below 11.50, you can see a breakdown. And if prices cannot break above, let me zoom in, sorry, if prices cannot break above 12.37, then we're going to get a rejection. So again, resistance, support, and where we got those resistances and support are all based off of the 1 year, 1 day chart, or the 180-day, 4 hour chart. And again, you can see exactly how we got them. 180-day, 4 hour chart, one deviation. That's the current support. As you come to there, it snaps down. And then if you look at the daily chart, you'll see that you have your one deviation mark here at a 12.30 something, and that's where we get the resistance. So kind of above, below those 2 points. All right, and moving forward into the next thing for the day, which is SOS, I believe. Yep. So SOS, this is a stock that's getting pumped on Wall Street bets. People think there's going to be a short squeeze, blah, 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 based on short interest, even though the short interest really isn't that high, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, this has already hit resistance, so we're just going to go and do the same exact thing that we did for RMO. So again, we have SOS. We'll start here on the right screen, and we'll start with the 4 hour chart, 180-day, 4 hour chart. What do you know? You find the regression trend. It tagged it earlier, now it's a little off, but either way, resistance is all the way up at 654 right now currently for the stock, all right? We have a half deviation support system that comes into play all the way down at 530. Let's double check the daily chart. So when we go to the daily chart, what do we find? We find that we also have a resistance mark here at about 698, and we also have deviation support potentially here at 596, okay? So if I may, there's a lot of lines on the chart. I know you're going, holy cow, what am I looking at, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, just put it this way. Right now, the price has kind of been battling around some marks, but we've already hit resistance around 649. So the breakout play is pretty much over the pre-market high, or slightly over that. The breakout's really at 655, and support on the day is probably more down to 528. So if you see the market sell off, there's probably going to be a bounce around here. Okay, if the markets can sustain, pick up, and start trending, your legitimate breakout would be over 654 and then you have a potential target up to 7. So either way, that might have seemed a little bit confusing, but let's just redo it a little differently. See the 4-hour chart here on the right? We've already hit resistance. Okay, we hit 4-hour regression trend resistance. That's why we stopped here. All right. So the only way that we're really going to get a big breaking out move from SOS is if this market comes up and crosses through the regression trend, which is at 657. Otherwise, the market's just going to probably flop around and be done. So again, only way we really get a big play on the upside is if the markets come up to basically the pre-market high and go through that, because the pre-market high slightly above is a 4-hour regression trend shift point. And then if we break that out, we would then target our next potential resistance, which is only 50 cents above that, and that's at $7. So even if we do break out here, we're probably just going to run up to about 7 and then get hit down off of resistance anyways. So that being said, not extremely crazy about SOS, but since it's one of the most popular ones today, everyone's talking about it with a ton of volume, it's probably worth watching for the time being. All right, guys, next thing that we will take a look at is XL, because a lot of people are talking about this one too. So XL has performed pretty well since yesterday into today. We kind of want to watch it long still, but it's really not the greatest. So if you look at the long-term chart, this has been a steady downtrending stock. And the only reason it's really bouncing is because it came all the way down to -2 deviations on the daily chart. And if you look at the 4-hour chart, it came down to -2 deviations exactly. So, you can see we're bouncing right where we're supposed to off these trends. So we're just doing a counter trend bounce within the downtrend. So there's a good chance that this counter trend move ends up getting sold into again. And I mean, that's pretty much just it. We're probably not going to do too much with XL today, but a lot of people are talking about it. So just for your sake, if you are watching XL, then put targets at 1026 and put a target at 992. And if XL does pick back up and it keeps running to the upside, expect 990 to 1030 to be your at most or highest target to hit on the day, and don't expect anything more from XL on the day, really above 990 or like 1020 or 1030. Okay. Real quickly, we're going to run over the SPY, and then we're also going to run over the NASDAQ and give you guys a quick little update there. So I'm kind of expecting a sluggish, kind of sideways pullback day for the market, whether it be on the SPY or the NASDAQ. So to pretty much put it that way, we're really just kind of looking for some pullbacks on the market. Let me specifically talk about the NASDAQ because there's more to go off of. If you followed from yesterday, we mentioned we just got to the regression trend and that we were most likely going to hesitate here, pull back before we try to go to the all-time high. So we are probably going to the all-time high here on the NASDAQ, but we first got back to regression trend. That's why we're starting to trade a little sluggish here. We should see a little bit of resistance, maybe some pullbacks, but nothing too major I don't expect. So again, slight pullback, probably gets bought up very quickly, and then we're going to try to push to the all-time high, which is also going to put us right back at the daily chart regression trend. So the same thing that we just did on the 4-hour chart, we're going to try to do on the daily chart. Let me go back. Let me explain. Again, look at what we just did on the 4-hour chart. We came from this yellow area down here, boom, boom, went all the way up to this little white trend line. Now we're stopping. Got it? Look at the daily chart. Go back to the daily chart. We just came from close to this yellow thing and swinging all the way back up where? To that white trend line. Bing, bing. Got it? Boom. That's where we're going. Probably back to the all-time high. Hope you guys learned something new from today's video. With that being said, I'll see everybody on the next video. Take care. Have a green day.